Howdy, howdy, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome back to the 3 days after Christmas here on Anti-Tools Farm. Or maybe, what do they call it? Feast of the Winter Star? I don't know.
Eating the winter solstice, I think what it was.
Okay. And we gave our gifts. We got some gifts. And we have once again retreated into our own little world to continue maxing our campaign against Big Tool.
Yes, we have. Jared, it is the last day of the year. Winter
that's
28.
so true.
You know what that means? Do you know what happens tomorrow?
This is the new year.
Yes, we get to listen to that Death Cab song all day long. Hey, Babarma. Welcome. We're just trying to guess what happens tomorrow, and it's that a ghost comes and judges us.
Oh, crap. I haven't been clearing the trees.
Oh, I don't think that's part of getting judged. Oh, yeah, we do need to get to the...
Let's see. We have to offer a
judgment
diamond,
zone.
right?
No, so your first one's free.
Oh, okay.
And then if we don't pass his evaluation, he's going to give us 1, 2, 3, or 4 candles. And if we get 4 candles, then we can be done getting judged forever. And if we get fewer than 4 candles, then we have to pay a diamond to get reevaluated.
Berkeley, I've just had a surprising realization.
Yeah.
The fact that Ghost Grandpa operates using the first time's free drug dealer business model, and that the farm itself was in such disrepair, including the house, leads me to believe that Grandpa was not farming. He was making drugs.
Well, some drugs need to be farmed.
That is true, but I don't know. Probably not in this climate.
The farm would have been organized better. Yeah, that makes sense to me. One says getting ghost judged is rough and crack farm. That's how it works, right? You put the crack rocks into the ground and then they grow into crack nuggets that get harvested.
Crack tree.
Have you heard that urban legend? I don't know if this actually happened or not, so maybe I shouldn't repeat it. But the urban legend that I heard was that at one point in Portland, there was like a really high profile meth dealer that got busted. Or I guess the busting was high profile, depending on what circles you ran in. And afterwards, the Oregonian, the like main newspaper in Oregon, ran a story about it, and as part of it, they included instructions on how to brew, grow, breed, ferment,
breed the meth
in your house. And then a bunch of people did it. Like, I think the writer of the article was just, if you're curious, this is how it's done, not here's how you should do it.
Right.
But, people took advantage of his naivety. Or her, I don't know.
I think that it's their journalistic duty to publish how the meth is made.
We want answers.
I want a how it's made TV show just for drugs. It's my right as an American. Oh, man. No, that was probably kind of foolish.
I want you to know this. Yeah, it was a little foolish.
I feel, on the other hand, though, it is an interesting question about, like, what types of speech should be regulated. Because it's not necessarily directly harmful. Like, it's very, very close to directly harmful, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if you... Maybe this is too libertarian a take. If you're a consenting adult who wants to make meth for your own use... I can't say it with a straight face, man. You shouldn't publish meth recipes in the newspaper. It's not a good idea. That's the...
Obama says they needed to publish the meth to his madness.
Good pun. I'd give that a 6 out of 10. It did take a little bit of thought, but maybe not the most clean pun I've ever heard.
Oh, I thought it was so good. 10 out of 10 from me.
Wow. Okay, so if we average that, you get 8 out of 10, which is a B. Minus.
I guess if you want to average it, fine. Personally, I like to weight my opinions the most.
Ah,
I don't know if you ever also weight my opinions the most, but that's my method.
when it comes to AI, I definitely weight your opinions the most.
Speaking of AI, I had a friend get laid off and replaced with AI.
Dang.
I heard about that happening, but it just happened to someone I knew. Kind of crazy. She was a copy editor that wrote content for dentists' websites. Very niche job, but someone's got to do it. And yeah, her whole department just got laid off, and they're going to have ChatGPT do it. And she's very concerned that ChatGPT is going to say something that is illegal for a dentist to say.
I hope
Almost
so.
not super concerned, like kind of hoping that will happen,
Yeah,
expecting it to happen. Kind of wild.
it is wild. It's wild to me. It feels like back at the beginning of our time streaming, the idea of people getting laid off and replaced by AI was still kind of a nebulous future problem that we wouldn't have to worry about in the short term. And now it's
Yeah,
here.
I don't think ChatGPT had even come out yet when we started streaming.
Yeah,
GPT-3 was out for sure, but I think ChatGPT was since then. A little crazy.
yep.
Time's moving fast. Bobarma says, B minus, you fail. I can't believe you would fail that pun. This is why we need to weight my opinions the most.
You make a convincing argument. I will give you emergency powers.
Oh, nice. I'm going to use them to make my emergency powers the normal level of powers.
Wow. Yet another convincing argument.
Okay, Jared, I noticed something interesting in a video game I was playing and a book I was reading that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to tell you the phenomenon I noticed and then see if you have other examples that come to mind.
Yeah.
So, the phenomenon is this: sometimes when you're telling a story, you need to make it really clear, really fast when someone is a bad guy. Um, Usually, you like start with your protagonist, so that part's clear. Uh, but when you meet someone new, you need to show whether they're good or bad immediately. I noticed this while I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins, which I think I've talked about. I've been very into that game lately. And one of the things that happens in the game is you'll come across a camp of a bunch of people with weapons. And if you walk into camp, they will all attack you. And so it becomes very apparent, obvious, like quickly that you're supposed to like
Fight
sneak
them.
through the camp and stealthily kill everyone and then
Oh.
steal all their stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to feel bad about just like murdering random people. You like when you first come across them, you can't tell if they're bandits or soldiers or what. You just, kill them and steal their stuff, which is not a good thing to do. And so in every single one of these camps, after you kill everyone, after you get all the loot, you'll find like a scrap of paper that will be like, "Hello, I am the evil boss man. You're doing so good exploiting the farmers of this region. Keep up the good work." Or, "I want you to steal from more people who are in mourning." Like that is our business strategy right now. Steal any funeral related things that you can. So you get to walk into this camp, kill everyone, and then find this note that justifies your actions every single time, which I appreciate because I don't like feeling evil, but is also very silly when I thought more about it.
It is silly. It's what would you call that? It's like a smoking gun, but after the
Yeah.
fact.
Uh-huh. Like retconning the justification for your evil deeds.
Yeah. Very interesting.
The other place that I noticed this one's a little less silly. So in the Red Rising series, which you recommended and obtained for me, and which I've been reading, frequently you'll meet some noble person, and if the author wants you to know right off the bat you're not supposed to like them, they'll just put a prostitute in the room. There's never anything sexually explicit that happens in those books, at least from what I've read so far. But like there will just be a prostitute in the room, and that's how you know right away that they're a bad guy.
True.
It's just like a really. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the subtext there is that they are like upholding a system of slavery in the most um need needless way, maybe, because like slaves to grow food. Okay, if you're an interplanetary civilization that is struggling with instability, I wouldn't agree that it's morally correct to enslave people, but I could agree that there might be a necessity to restrict certain freedoms so that you could make sure everybody gets to eat. But there's no way to justify sexual slavery as necessary under any condition. So it's like, yeah, it's like a symbol of how bought into the system, I guess they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it like has a strong emotional response from us with our sensibilities. So it's like a quick way to get the reader sympathizing against the character.
Yeah.
Oh, but Barma says absolution. Thank you. Yeah, that's the word we were looking for earlier. Yeah, so those are just a couple I thought of. In movies, obviously, there's a lot more you can do. You can have intimidating music. You can have dark clothing. You can have people just be ugly. That's something that happens frequently in
My
movies.
favorite is eye rings. If you've got dark bags under your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I have that. I've had that my
Yeah,
whole
that's bad
life.
news for me. In real life, that just means you have a toddler and or a hard job. Yeah, but I was curious. Yeah, other like shorthands for evil that you've noticed in media. Chat as well if you have any.
If they wear a suit and slicked back hair in a modern setting, I feel like that. Like the villain from the original Oceans trilogy is that way.
Okay.
Um,
But Barman just said Trump.
yeah, yep. Oh, Grandpa Ghost. He looks like a
Oh yeah,
weird
let's put that in
frozen
those
Santa. My dear boy, it's been many years since we last spoke. You were just a little boy. The bed scene happened when I was just a little boy? What? Do you remember? Look how far you've come. Though you may have forgotten me, I'll be here. I've been here all along. You see, my body has departed this world, but my heart will always remain in Stardew Valley. Is that because it was removed, put in formaldehyde, and then buried somewhere in the valley? Stars? Is this stars or is it spirit shines?
That's just flakes of skin. That's dandruff that is fallen off of him.
Ghost dandruff. This is Grandpa's uncleaned ghost room that he's been living in for 2 years.
He's actually in an invisible ghost bed right now. It's rocking.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you, my boy. You're a better farmer than I ever was, and you've brought great honor to the family name. Well, Grandpa, that's because we use bombs exclusively. I can feel it now. My spirit is finally put to rest. Bless you. Does that mean we did it?
I am dubious that we did it.
The future of Anti-Tools Farm is in your hands now. Farewell. I didn't see any candles. Where do I look? Is it the
We have to go
shrine?
find the shrine.
The shrine. It's obscured. I see at least 3.
Me too. Ooh, we might have done it.
We might have done it.
These chickens and dinosaurs are just all over the place.
Man, look at all these pigs. We're gonna have so many truffles. We're gonna have to find so many truffles. All right, it's time to blow some stuff up and find out if we did it. Oh, we did it.
We did it?
Yeah, I forgot you can see through the trees when you walk up to them. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what we should do? We should take a quick screenshot of like our skills and our money so we can make another Instagram post about what you can do in 2 years
Okay.
without tools.
Yeah. Berkeley, something I've noticed, we've been getting, I mean, not buckets of attention, but a quite reasonable amount of attention on YouTube. And
Yeah, I think we're gonna make it into Rewind this year.
that surprises me. Are you guys watching
Just
our
kidding.
videos after the fact on YouTube? Secretly, I do watch them actually, though.
How many times? You
Oh,
don't have to answer that.
probably once per episode, but if there's a particularly good moment, I'll watch it again.
Mm. Okay, at some point you should go and check on all of our pigs. 'Cause I didn't get to say all of their names when I was naming them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, it's not urgent. I keep giving you dumb requests that are not nearly as important as these candles. Obama says sometimes. Sometimes he watches our YouTube videos. We appreciate everyone who watches us on Twitch and on YouTube.
And even if you don't watch, if you're just here for the chat, we appreciate that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Which button is the screenshot button? F12?
Yeah.
All right.
Our peach or our apricot trees are done too, so now we can give hella gifts.
Excellent. That's inside the greenhouse, correct?
Yeah. I'll harvest them today. But
Okay.
if you ever want to, you can.
Wow. It's gorgeous. I'm going to take a screenshot of this.
Yeah.
So many screenshots. All right. Skills. You will have to do your own skills because I can't do your skills for you.
Yeah, I got them.
All right. Let's talk to some pigs. Quality Bob, my favorite. Willie's Blob. I like the rhyme actually. Willie's clones. Crap ton. Uh-huh. Greasicus. A ton of pigs. A metric ton. 2 kkg. Oh, because that's a ton. Not very nice. Mert. Where? What is that from? The rest of these I remember, but Mert?
I don't remember Mert either. I think that one was just the recommended name.
Ah,
when
okay.
I thought it was funny.
Mert.
We are going to go through hay so fast this season and the subsequent seasons.
Oh, that is true.
It's just fine. We're so profitable.
Linus here with another fish gift. Hello, friend. The mountain lake has been kind to me lately. I'd like to share my good fortune with you, Linus. And he has sent a largemouth bass. Thank you, Linus. I will sell this. It's the seed of my financial future. All right.
All right. Can I go back to our previous conversation just for a moment?
Yes, please.
So Babarma said Trump as a shorthand for making characters evil. If you've joined us since then, we're talking about things that authors and writers do to just make you quickly understand that someone's evil. I just remembered that in Back to the Future 2, they literally modeled the antagonist after Donald Trump in order to make him seem evil. So that is just straight up.
You know,
maybe you were already thinking of that, but I just realized that.
It's kind of wild that they like predicted that Trump was evil.
Mhm.
Well, I guess he existed back then too.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, that's the main thing I wanted to say. But if you had any examples, I'd love to hear them.
Oh man. I feel like lots of eye contact is another one. Everybody
Like freaky,
gets
unblinking.
Yeah, or like just longer than is normal, or the only one looking at the protagonist during a certain scene. Also, for the greased back hair, I want to say Draco Malfoy is another one.
Oh yeah, great example. When you said suits, I was also thinking of Fallout. That's such a gritty world, and so when you meet someone with a clean suit, it's just immediate red flag.
Oh yeah.
There's that whole subway station full of the like Al Capone fanboys.
Uh-huh.
I loved that dungeon so much. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So that one, there was like a vault at the back of it too, right?
Yeah.
That was a really neat one. Lewis just greeted me walking into his house unannounced with "Good evening," which feels weird.
You're just in time for dinner.
He's got a rose between his teeth. The candles are lit.
Babarma says greased back hair, greased Bach hair.
Greased Bach hair.
I saw a post on social media this week where someone had a transaction that had been flagged by their bank as possibly fraudulent. And so the bank emailed them and said, can you explain this? There's the word Bach in the middle of it. Is that a person? Can you send us their information? The transaction had been buying some sheet music. And so Bach was Bach. And so they very snarkily replied with like the last known address and birth year and other identifying information about Johann Sebastian.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, sorry. I don't think he even meant Bach hair. He meant back hair, like hair on your back.
Ah,
Greased back hair. That's a whole other thing.
that's something I haven't seen too much.
I
To
think
be
the only back
completely.
hair in representation in media I can think of is Captain Jack Sparrow, who's he an anti-hero? Chaotic protagonist?
Yeah. Oh, disgusting teeth. I'm not talking like, oh, you didn't have braces. I'm talking like full decayed teeth. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
They use it in
Which is
True Grit.
actually
Go ahead.
uh, which is actually the opposite of real life because we talked about that scummy solar panel salesman that I met who had just too white of teeth.
Oh yeah, what ended up happening with that? Were you guys able to break your contract and all that good stuff?
Yeah, Utah state law lets you back out of contracts like that within 3 days of signing.
That is so
We did
good.
that. Yeah.
That's like one of the only laws in Utah.
Yeah, we've got 7 of them, and that's one of them.
I just gave Sebastian a fish and I don't think he liked it.
The Russian Assassins and Condor Man. Have you seen that?
I have, yes.
I think just being Russian in general. Like, I have friends who are Russian who I like, but when they show up in media,
You
really
see a
good.
post on social media, you're like,
Queen's Gambit. Oh man, if you want to know someone's evil, just are they Russian or are they not? Are they Russian or one of the protagonist's parents? Then they're evil. Otherwise, they're fine. Steel eye or metal teeth. Yep. Um, Home Alone. Burglar smiles. I guess it's really just the burglary is the main thing that cues you in, but the foreshadowing is the metal teeth.
that's also from one of the James Bond films, right?
Oh, I haven't
Is it,
seen any
is it
James Bond.
Jaws who has the metal teeth? Berkeley, if you haven't seen any of the James Bonds, I would strongly recommend the last one that Daniel Craig made. It's the best Bond film I've ever seen. Um, and I think it stands on its own pretty well. So,
Nice.
if you're in the mood for a somewhat, I don't know if meaningful is the right word, emotional action film, that's a good one.
Cool. Yeah, I've been curious about them. I keep hearing great things. All right, Jared, I am very excited to get a golden clock. It costs $10 million for 10 million gold, so we're not close.
No, we're
But
not.
what it does is it stops weeds and detritus from growing on your farm. And I forgot how bad it is when it's not winter.
Yeah, true. I feel like finding the truffles is going to be the hardest part of this whole deal.
Yeah.
Do you have to
Oh,
pick
so
them up manually, or do they automatically get picked up into your inventory?
you have to pick them up manually.
Okay. It
And
might be worth building a fence around the
yeah, I think you're right.
thing.
Do we have any wood?
We do. It is almost 1 a.m. though. We should probably
Oh yeah, let's do that tomorrow.
hit the hay, as it were.
So general strategy for spring, we decided not to plant any crops outside. We're just going to rely on the greenhouse. Holy 20,000 gold. This is amazing. So we're just going to rely on the greenhouse for all of our crops. We're going to try to get me up to full foraging skill as fast as possible by planting wild seeds in the greenhouse. And harvesting the results. That'll get us our foraging level up really quickly, hopefully. And then with full foraging, then that will make it so that all of the truffles we pick up will be iridium quality, which will be like, I think it's 3,000 gold, maybe just 1,000 gold per iridium truffle.
That is still a lot of gold for a truffle.
Yes.
Truffles in real life are quite expensive, though, from what I hear.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. Sorry, I didn't mean that to sound so.
No. You're good. You're
I
not
just
a
don't know.
truffle expert.
No. And then also during spring, now that we've got apricots and cherries out the wazoo, we should be able to make friends with people really quickly. Yeah, if you want to just like keep a stack of apricots in your pocket at all times, you can just give them to every person you see.
Do you imagine cramming 15 apricots into your pocket and then walking around, pulling them out and handing them to people?
Jared, did you make it to the shrine?
I did.
Did you try clicking on it?
I didn't.
Oh, that is a fun thing to do.
Does Grandpa come out and tell me to leave him alone so he can rest in peace?
No, something else comes out.
Jared, wait for my return on the dawn of your 3rd year, Grandpa.
Oh, what?
Whoa.
Oh.
Wait a minute. We got a peculiar statue behind Grandpa's shrine. Grandpa, what have you been hiding? This looks reminiscent of those... I don't know the exact cultural significance, so if I'm getting it wrong and you know better, please correct me, but I think they're like for luck, those cats that you see in some Asian restaurants. Statue of Perfection. This cat. Where shall I place him?
Probably put him inside somewhere.
All right. We have it. I guess that's that.
So what the statue of or not true perfection, just the statue of perfection. What it does is every day it generates iridium for you.
Oh.
Like the most rare metal in the game.
Very nice. Is it bars or ore?
Ore, but it'll give you like 2 to 4 each day, I think. So you can make plenty of ore as well. So that's exciting. Good job, us. I'm really impressed that we did that.
Yeah, that's a completely new thing for me. I never made it this far. As I think I've said before on this stream, I think I've only played a year, a little over a year in my own save. So it's been really neat seeing what's out there, and I never completed the community center.
Well, you have once now.
That's true.
Whoa, I forgot we have a mushroom tree back here.
Oh yeah. If you cut it down, do you get mushroom wood?
I don't remember what happens when you cut it down. I think you get mushrooms. You can put a tapper on it, and it will give you maybe mushrooms.
Psilocybin.
Not that, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. So all the spring forageables that we get, we should probably craft and turn into spring seeds. So let's save those when you come across them.
Okay. We do have a bunch in one of the chests right now, by the way.
I used all the spring ones, and all the other season ones, we were
okay.
just missing at least one from each season.
Okay.
Do you mind if I buy some grass for our animals to eat?
I would mind if you don't buy grass.
Okay.
So
well, I hate to inform you that I have not yet bought grass.
I am severely minding right now. Oh. Let's see. Can I enter this room? I can't. Sam, stop playing guitar and come eat this fruit that I brought for you. It worked.
Do you remember roughly how much wood we have?
I am currently carrying 96 wood. That is all I know.
That's probably all of it. I am going to buy a little more. Oh, I can't because Robin's at Jazzercise. Which, good for her. But I can't buy wood from her right now.
Have you ever tried Jazzercise or Zumba or those other like dance aerobics?
I have not.
I don't know if Zumba really counts as dance aerobics. I don't know. I've never done it either. It's an interesting concept to me, though.
Dancing as exercise is interesting to you?
No, just the fact that people get together in big groups to do that is interesting.
Yeah.
And like it's like line dancing, but it's exercise. Just feels strange. But then again, so does running in a straight line for 6 miles without talking to anybody and being unable to speak anyways because you're so winded.
Super fair.
Exercise in general is a weird concept. Whoa, Berkeley, there's a chair next to Clint at his cash register that you could sit in, and I didn't know that. So
that
now I'm
makes
just
you his little assistant.
especially with my sailor hat on. I'm his apprentice now. Berkeley, we're trying to get your foraging skill up. Does that mean that if I find a forageable, I should tell you where it is and have you forage it? Or are we just going to focus you on the greenhouse?
I was going to focus on the greenhouse, but I guess if you see them, I can come get them. I think they reset once a week, either on Saturdays or Sundays, so we can also have like a dedicated day of the week where we go and pick them all up.
Okay.
Where are you seeing them?
Oh, I just found one by the Joja Mart, but I plucked it from the earth before you gave me an answer. Which isn't your fault. I phrased that like it was your fault, but it wasn't your fault.
Can I tell you about the delightful book that I'm reading?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it up because it's a beautiful cover.
I'm gonna alt tab so that I can look at the cover.
It is
Oh
called
wow.
The Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval England. um, it is by Brandon Sanderson. So I've mentioned this on the stream once before, but Mr. Sanderson is an author, and during COVID, during like 2020 and 2021, while we were all like stress eating to cope with the stress, he was just writing tons of novels in secret. He publishes about 2 books a year already, but then during those 2 years, he wrote 5 more, just in his free time for fun. And this was one of them. So it got published recently. The ebook came out like 2 months ago. I got the physical copy delivered about a month ago, a few weeks ago. Anyway, just barely started reading it, and it is so good. It's heavily inspired by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It feels like it's like kind of bending the genre, um, with like a mix of just kind of corporate, clean cut. Everything's kind of an advertisement mixed with a very exciting plot. The premise of it, I can't say too much because it is a mystery that unfolds very slowly. Like from the very beginning, there's stuff that just doesn't make sense and then slowly gets revealed, which has just been really well done, but means that I can't say too much about it. What I will say is that it's like it's a multiverse story. The premise of it is that instead of just having Spider-Mans or whatever was going on in Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Mm-hmm.
it has been very just capitalist approach to it. Like a bunch of companies bought the rights to different sets of dimensions and are selling access to those dimensions to people. And so this one focuses on there's a company that discovered a bunch of medieval England dimensions where like Earth's progression happened like just a few centuries slower. And so even though it's like 2023 there, or I guess it takes place in the future, but even though it's lined up with Earth's time, the technology and the culture and everything is more like medieval England. And hijinks ensue. Between chapters, there will be like bits from the brochure of this company that feel like the little cutscenes in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the movie. I haven't read the book, but it feels like the movie when they've got those instructional sections between scenes. Anyway, it's been very, very funny, very, very interesting, and I recommend it if you are into sci-fi and fantasy at the same time.
Berkeley, you read me a snippet that I thought was quite clever. Would it be weird to ask you to read a paragraph of it to give the listeners a taste?
Yeah, let me see if I can find the one I read. I apologize if people are super anti-spoiler. This is all stuff that happens in the first third, so hopefully not too spoilery. Let me see if I can find the same one that I read you earlier. Okay, so this is one of the like clips between chapters. The intricacies of dimensional travel are unimportant, and we recommend you not trouble yourself with them. We here at Frugal Wizard Incorporated have done the hard part for you. All you need to do is pick the package you want, and we will deliver one pristine Earthlight dimension to you. That is one paragraph.
It is so perfectly corporate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you said it reminded you of Portal. Of like
Yeah. The
yeah,
Portal storyline.
um, like through all the corporate speak, there's a very clear disregard for human life, which
Yep.
also reminded me of Portal.
Yep. People are the product in a way.
Mm. Last time I talked about a Brandon Sanderson book, I finished by saying it was not a good first Brandon Sanderson book because it like kind of referenced a lot of his others. This one is a great starting place. It's not connected to his broader fantasy world at all. It's standalone.
I don't remember if we talked about this, but I guess this kind of ties into the Marvel fatigue that we were talking about last episode. It seems like there are a lot of intellectual properties, or you could talk about it as like the world that a book is set in, or the universe that a story or a series of stories is set in, that have kind of gone beyond their shelf life. They've become so big that it's hard to appreciate new entries because it's just too, like, for me at least, at a certain point, I can't really contextualize the information anymore. And this happened to me with Marvel, where, like, especially the third Thor movie, in my opinion, or the fourth Thor movie, sorry. The third one was quite good. The fourth one, I felt like it was hard to. The villain was compelling, but it was hard for me to place it within the rest of the Marvel goings on. And it just felt kind of disconnected to me. And even though there were very real stakes, for some reason, it just didn't feel that real.
Interesting.
I don't know. So I've read several book series by an author that are all set in the same world and within one big storyline. And it's got to be 20 plus books now.
Is that Discworld?
It is not Discworld. It is, I think it's called the Divine Dungeon series. Was like the original.
You're 20 books in and you don't know the name?
It's been a couple of years since I was keeping up with the books, because at one point it was just so far removed from the original story that even though, like, the context was still shared, like the same overarching story was still being pushed forward, it was done so in such a weird, myopic scale that I couldn't keep track of it, and eventually I just stopped reading the books.
Interesting.
So do you feel that that has happened with Brandon Sanderson's writing for you at all, or does he keep it?
Yeah, that's
together?
a great question. So he has made a big effort to make it so that most of his series work as standalones. Like, I think the idea was always that the crossover stuff would be a cool bonus extras. That's what he said all along was his goal. I do feel like the last 2 or 3 books he published were less that way. Like, things kind of crossed the line from Easter eggs to, like, actually important plot points. So I do think the newer books have been less accessible. The newer Cosmere books. Cosmere is the name of his, like, big multiverse that spans multiple series. So that is a bit of a bummer. I think up until that point he did a great job, though, of, like, keeping things separated. The one time where I have felt very much like, wow, this is overwhelming, there's so much going on and I can't keep up with it, is when I, like, read forums and stuff, because Brandon Sanderson fans can be kind of infamous for being super into the lore and making connections between not just his main books, but even, like, tiny little short stories or clips that he read. There's a whole wiki of just, like, question and answer sessions that he did at book signings where people, like, pick apart every little answer that he gave and reference them and cross-reference them, and it's a little bit crazy.
Yeah. And you can't tell me off the cuff, like, that's such a tough thing to keep straight and consistent. There's no way that all of those could be canon, and it's silly to consider it that way, in my opinion.
He does a really good job, and he'll be very upfront if he doesn't want to commit to canon when someone asks a question. So I think it's more trustworthy than you might think, but then yeah, he definitely does reserve the right to change things later.
And
So
what if you
yes,
met
but not as
this
much as you would think.
space princess that's super cool and you're kind of romantic? And then later I changed my mind and she's your sister. How would that be?
Sorry, it took me a minute to realize what you're referencing. Yeah, the questions people answer will be like the equivalent of what happens if a lightsaber touches vibranium, and he'll just know, or he'll take a second to think about it, or he'll say, you'll have to keep reading to find out, which is always very exciting because then that implies that a Jedi will meet Captain America. Or, you know, the equivalents in his world.
Berkeley, there's a lot of forageables in the Hidden Wood.
Ooh, nice. That is what I like to hear. Let me just wrap up some chores. Man, the farm is so messy. I just want to make
Bomb it
1,000
all and
bombs.
start over.
But we need that golden clock first.
That's true. And if we hold out until we have that clock, we won't be wasting bombs. But at the same time, it feels like it's a long way off.
Yeah. Well, now that we're getting our full truffle production, maybe it will come faster than we think.
True.
Jeez, we have so much going on. I can't even get off the farm because I keep getting distracted by one more thing to do. I love it.
I should probably run out to the desert and see if our trees have grown out there.
Yeah, I went last time we streamed, but yeah, it's about time to go again.
I should probably try to befriend the wizard. That's something I haven't been doing.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. Well, there's the little bushes on the ground that you can use your sword to harvest for fiber. We can turn the fiber into grass to feed our animals, and then we will need to buy less wheat.
Okay.
So if you see those would be good to get.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to save fiber. That's one of those things I usually just sell.
Yeah, same. But then I realized I had the recipe, and now that it's spring, it is time.
Okay,
Obama says
apparently
Diana Wynne Jones's book. Do you know what that is?
that name sounds very familiar.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Howl's Moving Castle. That's the author of Howl's Moving
Mhm.
Castle. Leah doesn't like apricots. Apparently.
What?
Yeah.
I thought everyone liked every fruit from trees.
Yeah, me too. Oh, you know
Oh,
what? I'm dumb. I thought it was an apricot, but it was a gold ore.
oh. Sorry, Scamble said the Dark Lord of Dirkholm. Is that another?
Yeah, that is a book that I've only listened to part of, but it is very similar to what you're describing, where you have magic and you have interdimensional travel, and it's
Hmm.
become corporatized. Only this is from the perspective of the residents of the target or the destination dimension.
Ooh,
And from what I heard, it was quite clever um, in its execution. So yeah,
nice.
Dark Lord of
I,
Dirkholm might be up your alley.
yeah, cool. Thanks. I'll have to check that one out. Um, there was kind of a subplot in Brave New World that was like that. That one just took place on Earth. There wasn't any interdimensional travel, but there were like kind of these Native American reservations that had turned into tourist places. Um, yeah, so like all the rich schmarmy people would go and see what it was like to be in a society where you weren't just doing drugs and having orgies all the time. That was like their fun holiday to do.
Dang,
Um, and one of the people there ends up becoming one of the main characters. So you
interesting.
get to see his perspective.
Yeah,
Um, like they take a super normal way of life and turn it into a zoo in a way that's pretty disturbing, which was the point. Made you think.
have you heard of hood safaris?
No.
They're I don't know if this is still a thing, but I remember 10 years ago, um, there were companies that would take people on tour buses to go like to um I don't know if there's a better way to refer to it, but to the hood as tourists to see what it was like. And that feels very similar. I mean, they're not like living it for the novelty. They're on a
Mm-hmm.
tour bus, but they're still like people watching as if it's a zoo, which is just really disrespectful and gross, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Very dehumanizing. That's icky.
Our first iridium bar. Well, not our first, but our first from our statue.
Nice.
So that's cool. Do iridium bombs? Is it worth it?
I think there's something else you need for iridium bomb. Are iridium bombs a thing? There's mega bombs.
I probably don't even have the recipe yet. Yeah, I don't think so.
There's also like some monster drops that you need for the mega bombs. I think it's like the solar essence.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting tons of spring seeds now, so no worries if you forget and start selling things. I think I should be able to get enough spring forageables to make all the spring seeds we need.
Okay.
They're coming
How
fast now.
how are you finding truffle collecting? Is it doable?
I have found all of the ones that I have found.
Wow, that's a hundred
Um,
percent
yeah,
retroactive success
I
rate.
haven't missed a single one that I know of. Yeah, so the truffles they like stick around until the end of the season, I believe. So like if you get 90% every day, then you you're good because then you'll find more the next day.
Okay.
Um,
Berkeley,
hey, oh, go ahead.
oh, I just checked on our kegs and it reminded me that you did some brewing recently and we'd never ended up talking about it. So I know we're out of
Oh
time,
yeah,
so maybe next time. But
okay.
um, Yeah, love to hear about it. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, does anyone, you all in the chat are better at this game than we are. Anyone in the chat or on YouTube, can you think of anything that we should be doing with our iridium? Um, I don't think sprinklers are going to be profitable for us. We've already got plenty of like quality sprinklers. We want to eventually have some to repair the boat to get to Ginger Island. Beyond that, I think we're good to just sell it. But if anyone knows of anything that we should be using iridium for, please let us know. Okay, we got 6,000-ish gold from truffles that day.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not amazing, but I think as the pigs get older, we'll get more.
All right. Well, that's about it for the time we had. But look,
Yeah.
look at this glorious army of pigs. I feel like I'm on the Spirited Away island. Uh, if you haven't watched Spirited Away to know that reference, I highly recommend you watch it. Almost any Studio Ghibli film is going to be an excellent experience, and Spirited Away definitely falls into that category. Um, but it's not what you think, probably, with the pigs at least. All right, Berkeley, anything to say to these fine people before we call it a night?
Thanks for joining us. We're having a lot of fun. I hope you're having fun. We would stop doing this if you stopped coming. Or maybe we would keep playing and just stop streaming. No, we would stop playing. We would play other games. Yeah, we do this for you. Thanks for being here. Let us know if you have any opinions on how we do it, or when we do it, or why we do it.
Or who we do it.
No, not that one. We're kind of stuck being you and I.
That's true, but I could be Berkeley.
I don't see what you're doing. Are you doing something?
I center
funny?
parted my hair.
Oh, nice. Love it. But Barma says outside of tool upgrades in the boat repairs, it sounds like you can sell it. But Barma says he likes our book reviews. Okay, we'll keep them coming. Sweet. Thanks everyone for being here. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.